What are the trade-offs if you are married, but you choose to file your taxes separately? Specifically, can you still contribute to a Roth? If not, what are your options? I've got that and more coming up. My name's Mike Bernard. I'm the host of the Wise Money Show. I'm also one of the certified financial planners right here at Korhorn Financial Group. Make sure you hit that subscribe button, turn on notifications, and smash that thumbs up button. Your marital status at the end of the year, at the last day of the year, December 31st, that defines, for the most part, your tax filing status for that year. Okay, so if you are single the entire year, and like my friend and fantastic financial advisor, Ben DeBach, who's been on the show many times, if you're like him and you get married at, I think, 11 p.m. or 10 p.m. on New Year's Eve, you are married. You can file married filing jointly for that calendar year. You can, because the last day of the year you were married. Say you were married the entire year and got a divorce on the last day, then technically you're single, okay? Say that you have a child and the child is born on New Year's Eve. That child is a dependent that entire year. So it really, from a tax standpoint, for the most part, it has to do with, well, what's your marital status the last day of the year? That's your tax filing status. Now, I said for the most part, because we also know if you're married, you can choose to say, well, I'm married, but I'm choosing to file my taxes separately. There are times when there's emotional and relational reasons why you're going to want to do this. There aren't a lot of financial reasons why you want to do this. And if you're ever curious, or maybe there's rare instances where that would make sense. I think in my career, I've had, let's say less than a handful, where it's made sense. You can work with your certified financial planner who's doing your tax planning, and you can just say, hey, what would it look like? What would it look like if we married filing separate? Would that be a benefit? And thanks to technology, even though the technology within tax software and TurboTax is terrible, by the way, but through technology, you can quickly look and say, okay, here's what your tax return looks like if you're married filing jointly. Here's what it looks like if you're married filing separately. And it's not 9 out of 10. It's 999 times out of 1,000. Financially, it's going to be better for you if you're married on the last day of the year to marry filing jointly, because there are trade-offs. There are trade-offs financial trade-offs if you are married but choose to file separately. Well, one of those trade-offs has to do with one of my favorite tax planning strategies and tax shelters, the Roth IRA. Recently, we did a video about a year ago about, can you put money into a Roth IRA after you retire? And one of the examples that I shared was, well, if you retire but your spouse is still working, you can make a spousal Roth IRA contribution. So as long as there's earned income in your household, you can still make that contribution. Many people overlook this. Well, recently, a comment from a fan of the show, Chris, fantastic comment, I appreciate it, caught my attention. Here's the comment. You have to file taxes together for the spousal Roth contribution. You have to file taxes together. So if you're married, then there's the ability to do a spousal Roth contribution or spousal IRA contribution, by the way. But it's not just that you're married, you have to file married filing jointly. And that's true. And so fantastic. Thanks for pointing that out. But it begs the question, well, if let's say you are married and you choose to file separately, can you still fund a Roth IRA? The point of, well, if you're married and file separately, you won't be able to do a spousal Roth contribution. It almost suggests, yeah, but you'll be able to do a normal Roth contribution that's not spousal. And this is one of the trade-offs, guys. This is one of the trade-offs. There is actually a significant limitation to being able to fund a Roth IRA if you are married but choose to file separately. In fact, I haven't seen anyone where they've married, filed separate, and still been able to do a Roth IRA contribution. Here's how this works. In order to be eligible to make a Roth IRA contribution, you have to have earned income. And that was sort of the point of that first video that I referred to, is can you still do a Roth if you're retired? You have to have earned income. Social Security is not earned income. A pension's not earned income. Capital gains or dividends, that's not earned income. It's got to be paycheck money. So you've got to have earned income. But then your modified adjusted gross income, so all of your income minus just a few deductions, your modified adjusted gross income needs to be below certain thresholds in order to fund a Roth IRA. So you have to have earned income, you got to have paycheck money, but you can't have too much modified adjusted gross income. And right here, these show those modified adjusted gross income limits, whether you're single or married filing jointly. But here's what I want to point out. Look at what that modified adjusted gross income limit is if you're married and filing separate. In order to fund a Roth IRA, married filing separately, your modified adjusted gross income needs to be below 10 grand. That's it. Needs to be below 10 grand. But the same other criteria applies. You need to have earned income, and your modified adjusted gross income needs to be below certain limits. So you need to have enough earned income, but still have your modified adjusted gross income below 10 grand in order to fund a Roth. I haven't seen that apply to anyone. Because the other thing, well, if you have earned income, your modified adjusted gross income is below that limit, then you're eligible to fund a Roth IRA. Well, how much? You can fund a Roth IRA up to 100% of what you earned, or 7 grand or 8 grand if you're age 50 or older. So in this instance, if you had modified adjusted gross income of 10 grand or less, how much did you actually earn? What were your earnings? What was your paycheck money? So it's extremely limited, your ability to make a Roth IRA contribution if you're married, but you choose to file your taxes separately. I would argue that this is one of the trade-offs and one of the reasons why, even if there's, relational strife or whatever, financially, yeah, there's going to be tangible dollars that likely it's not going to make sense, but also if you're married but choose to file separately, likely you're not going to be able to contribute directly to a Roth IRA. So what could you do instead? And I'm not suggesting that you should go married filing separately. Again, there's going to be some other trade-offs, but there are two options if this does apply to you. One, you could still do a backdoor Roth IRA. So the ability to make a contribution to a traditional IRA, your requirement there is you need to have earned income. But if you want to deduct that IRA contribution, well, then your income needs to be below certain thresholds, and married filing separately, again, that 10 grand, it likely wouldn't count. But you could fund an IRA, traditional IRA, if you have earned income, you just wouldn't deduct it. And if you didn't already have other pre-tax dollars in an IRA, you could then convert that to a Roth IRA, and there you have it. Even though married filing separate, you were able to sneak dollars into your Roth IRA via a backdoor Roth contribution. So that's one. And the other option is if you are working and you've got a retirement plan through work, you could always contribute to the Roth side of that. The Roth 401k doesn't have the same income limitations, these phase outs that the Roth IRA does. That's one of the benefits of the Roth 401k. You could contribute to that even if you're married filing separate and your income's above that 10 grand. So there you have it. Does that apply to you? If so, you've got some workarounds, you've got some options, but it should hopefully fit within the context of all 6 areas of your financial life and within your proactive tax planning strategies that you've cultivated with your certified financial planner. If you don't have a CFP on your team, you can contact one on my team. Find us online, Korhorn.com. That's Korhorn with K, wisemoneyshow.com. You can find us there as well, or send us an email, info@korhorn.com. All right, there you have it. Go out and take your next wise step in your financial life.